Yo, what's going on, you Mohican looking bastards? Or bastards. Some people say bastard. If you're from South Philly or Philly, it's bastard. If you're from Delaware County, it's bastard. It's bastard. If you're from another part of Philly, it's bastard. Isn't that weird? 3 different little slangs of talking in a frickin' 7-mile radius. How does that happen? What the fuck happened to Philadelphia? That was weird. I got my Glock 19 here, and as you know, I love this Glock 19, and I love the work that I got done to it. I got the front serrations done. I got additional serrations in the back and deepened. Looks beautiful, new coating, all that, beautiful sights. But the only thing I wanted to do is just smooth out the trigger just a little bit. And I had these competition springs put in by Zev Technologies. Now, one thing about springs with Glocks, you know, I usually tell people, especially I suggest to people that leave your springs alone in your Glock. Leave it alone. If you shoot your Glock really well, leave it alone. Don't touch anything. Don't put a metal guide rod in there. Don't change your recoil spring. If it's shooting good and you're shooting good with it, just leave it alone. Let it be. And the gun will be reliable and it'll last you a lifetime. I'm more of a, I want something like a target shooting gun and a self-defense gun in one. Guys that are heavy-duty shooters that are world-renowned, a lot of them use springs from Zev Technologies. So, if you are going to change a spring in your Glock, do a lot of research, and if you go with this particular company, you'll be safe because a lot of real heavy shooters use these in their Glocks and they run flawless. Now, I've had these springs in this Glock for almost a month now. I had them installed by a friend of mine, and I've ran every kind of ammo through it that we carry, a double action. First I ran this stuff called kinetic factory reload ammo. Ran through it perfectly, ran great, no hiccups, no light primer strikes, no stovepipes, jams, nothing, no ejecting the brass in weird directions. Everything was uniform, perfect. So I put 100 rounds of that through it. Then I put 100 rounds of American Eagle through it. No light primer strikes, everything running great, perfect. PMC, another 100 rounds of PMC, bam. Okay, another 50 rounds of Lawman, boom. It's running every kind of ammo. Okay, this is why I say leave your Glock alone, don't change the springs. But if you really have to and you want to make it more of like a target shooting gun, a more precise range gun, you might have to lighten the springs a little bit. And if you're going to do that, make sure you use good companies like this one. This is what you want. Okay? So these were referred to me by a really good source, a friend of mine. He's very knowledgeable with firearms, and he follows everything that goes on with Glocks constantly. So he knows what he's talking about, and I just want to tell him thanks. The gun's running perfect. So what I'm going to do is do a video. I'm just going to redo what he did over again to show you guys how to put the springs in. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, first thing you want to do, check the gun. It's empty. Okay, pull the trigger. And, you know, all the shit going on with guns and all that shit. If you guys have a big YouTube channel, man, you need to, you know, set a good example with gun safety. You really do, you know. I mean, I don't stick my finger in a hole and all that. I think that's a little ridiculous, but you never know. Some people, when you get older, your eyes get bad, and to visually check it, you really can't see in there that well. And sometimes, you know, people that are a little older have to stick their finger in there, and if you have to, do it. This gun is so fucking dirty I think I got like 1,400 rounds through it. I haven't cleaned it in the last 800 rounds, so it's really dirty. It never jams. It never fails me. Whether it's lubricated, it could be dry, it could be dirty. It doesn't care. It just runs perfectly. It's 100% every time. There's never any problems. There's never any problems. Never, never, never. That's why I love these guns. Okay? There are so many guns that I paid so much money for, sent them back and forth. So ridiculous, man. $800, $900, $1,100 guns, not run them right. It's just, I don't understand it. I really don't. These Glocks, man, as soon as I buy it, I'm like, I know it's going to be good. You just know it. They run great. So this is a Gen 4, in case you're iffy about the Gen 4s. Here's one right in front of you that has over 1,400 rounds through it and not one hiccup. So, I mean, so far this is running great. And I'm a fan of the Gen 4s now. I wasn't before. So, first thing we're going to do is take this back plate off. And it's pretty easy to do. You can use the Glock tool. There's a little, I have this on these other videos. There's a metal thing here, and right under there is the little plastic coupler on the striker. And you just need to depress that to take the pressure off the back of the plate. So I want to do that, and then pull the plate out like that, and then just, it won't shoot out on you, which is good. Here's the plate, and then there's the back of the Glock. And then what I'm going to do is take out the plunger. Well, I'll have to take this out first. This spring was just changed, but like I said, it's a really dirty gun, so I'm going to really detail strip the slide, so I got to take the spring off anyway. And this spring was changed, okay, and this spring was not changed, this plunger here, so we put that away. The other spring that was changed was the plunger spring. So what I'll do is just going to push that plunger in, and it should shoot the extractor out. See that? Man, isn't that hard? God, these guns are so hard to take apart. And now the plunger and the spring will come out. And that's the other spring that was changed. Oops. You see a little tiny little itsy bitsy little spring on top of there? Very small, so be careful you don't lose it. And that's pretty much it with the slide. At the end of the video, someone's winning an awesome flashlight, like beyond anything you've ever seen since I've done this. Okay, so if I remember correctly, I will push the back of this out. And this lifts out, but I don't know if I should. Yeah, I'm going to have to take everything out to get that out of there. So what we're going to do is take this pin out. Okay. That one. So far we took that pin out, and then I call this the PETA pin, the pain in the ass one. Everything has to line up just right or you can't get it to frig out. There it is. You know, it's a pain getting that out, but you really don't need a lot of force. You have to move this around until that hole lines perfectly up with that hole, and then the pin will come out. And it's not real easy to do sometimes, you know. See how dirty it is? I'm just taking it apart and it's just filthy. So now I'll take out the this thingy, this block here. That just lifts right out of there. Okay, and now the whole trigger system should come out. Like that. So now this frame is stripped to the bone. I can even throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner if I want. There's nothing, I can't hurt nothing because there's nowhere for any water to get trapped. It's a skeleton. So really there isn't. So I might do that. Okay, the next spring that was changed was this spring here. And the way you get that out is you have this little thing that looks like a crucifix, like a cross, and what you want to do is come forward a little, turn, and then twist out, and just look at it, how the hell that's on there, so you know what you're doing. Okay, and that's pretty much it. It's a bitch. You got to kind of hook it in there, and I just want to show you the spring that we're changing here. This was changed. I'm just going to take it out and put it back in. We're going to pretend we're putting new stuff in. Okay, that's what we're doing. So, man, it sucks when you cannot see. There it is. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is clean all these parts up, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you how to put it back together. Hoping maybe this angle you can see a little better. I have a Lucas shut up phone. I'm not in the mood for you today. A Lucas fiber optic rag. It's nice and blue. You can see all the parts. Just be careful. All it takes is a little hangnail to grab the rag, and all the parts go flying everywhere. And then, I don't know, I might have to commit suicide. Oh, just kidding. Don't say that with guns. Them two things don't go together. People get real annoyed. No, but I don't know what I do. I don't know what I do. I punch a hole through something and probably break my hand. That would really suck if all the parts went all over the place. So, as you can see with a Glock, I mean, I don't do this often. I'm not really seasoned at this, so I do it every once in a while, and I'm still able to do it. That's why I'm pointing out to people why I love these guns. You're in charge of the whole gun. You can take care of it all the way, just like a Glock armorer could take care of it. There really isn't much to it. It's not that there's not much to it. It's not hard to put it back together and take it apart. And if you put it back together wrong, you're not going to ruin the gun. You just take it apart and correct what you did wrong. But now, everything was in the ultrasonic cleaner. As you can see how the barrel's all discolored? Because that ultrasonic cleaner, it does about 90% good job. Sometimes it has a hard time taking off the caked carbon. This gun's pretty dirty, so and plus I'm using simple green. It's okay, but it's really not really powerful cleaner. But I can see there's a lot of carbon here. It missed, but what I'm going to do, just on the barrel, everything else looks pretty good, is use this Lucas Extreme Duty gun oil, which is my favorite oil, and everyone that I've gave it to comes in the range and raves about it. They're like, dude, that's the gun oil. There is no other. And sorry, it's the truth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is all my parts are bone dry. So I'm just going to put a little drop of oil on it, just enough to moisturize the steel. I'm not going to put too much on there to where it's drippy. Just enough to where it moisturizes it and just gives it a light coating to keep it from rusting. That's all I'm doing. And I'm going to have to do every metal part. So there's your extractor. Okay, and then here is the striker, the firing pin and the striker thingy. Just enough, the oil that's on my hands is really only a little more. Just enough to keep it. You're not really supposed to put any oil on this at all. But I just like to put a little because it was in the ultrasonic cleaner. There's no protectant on it at all. So I can put a little bit. Just enough to rub it in. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put the striker spring on. Okay. There's a little trick that people do, because I think this has to be all the way like this. Let me see if I can remember this. You can stick this in the hole and leave this on the ledge like that. Thank you, Stephen and Jonathan. And it acts like a little post holder. Now you have these two cups. They're little half cups. This is the tedious thing. This and putting the trigger spring in. You have these cups. I know you can't see it, but they're in two halves. And you have to be a little coordinated to do it, which I'm not. So what you got to do is you get the spring, slide the spring on, and then pull the spring down past the throat there. And this is the first time I'm doing this, so put one there. Slide down a little till they fit together like a puzzle. Make sure you check that shit. Yeah, they're in there pretty good. See it? So they go in 2 halves, and make sure you turn it around. Make sure one's not high and one's not low, because then it'll pop out and fly across the room. And you'll never find it ever, because they're so small. Alright, so I'm going to pull this out of here. And there it is, that's all back together. As far as me lubing anything, usually what's happening here is the metal is rubbing on the plastic, and the plastic is so slick, it's its own lubricant. You know, you really don't need any oil in there. So just because I'm a pain in the ass, I might just put just a hair. I mean, I barely touched it. Barely any oil in there. I know you're not supposed to put anything in there really, but I just like to put a lot because of the ultrasonic cleaner. So if I see any oil left over, I'm just going to sop it up with this rag. You know, and that's just enough. And it just feels just like it relieved a little bit of friction. That feels good to me. Sexy. This has to go in first. You got that? Okay, this is going to go in first. Then the extractor is going in. As you're holding the button down, put the extractor in. Now that's all contained. Now you can put this in. When I was pushing the plunger down, the gold plunger, it was hitting the side of that thing, the striker system. Okay, now we're going to put this in. You always want the spring in the rear like that, and we're going to throw that in. Okay, now we're going to put the plate on. So to put the plate on, get it started, and usually I'll use like a pencil because it has like an eraser on it to hold one side of this down, push it in, and then use this for this plunger. Push that in until you want to hear it snap. If you don't hear it snap, it's not in right. Remember that. Okay, that's pretty much all assembled. The entire slide, and it's squeaky clean. We're going to hook this on here like that. Okay, and that's ready. Okay, so the next thing, I'm trying to think, got to think backwards, because everything goes in reverse. Yep. This is going to go this way. Like that. You'll get it. Like I said, I don't do this a lot. I'm not even seasoned at it, and I'm getting through it without going crazy. I'm going to put this pin in just to hold it in. Ah, you dick. Pushed it in too far. Try to keep it even on both sides. You know, you can eyeball that. As long as it's flush, flush, everything's flush. Okay, now this block is going to go in. Like I said, bare steel, so I'm gonna oil this just a little bit, especially around the hole, because things have to go in the hole. Anything that goes in a hole needs to be lubed. Ask Eric, I promise. He's an expert on that. Okay, now the block's going to go in this way, and he's going to push it down, and I'm going to look inside there. I don't feel like taking it back out, but it'll line up with that hole, and that's why, one of the reasons why I oiled it. So when that pin's going through, I don't want it to have any problems getting it in. Okay, now I'll oil this up. A lot of friction on this thing. Frick fucking chin. Frick fucking chin. Friction. Okay, now what am I missing? I'm missing this pin. Did it roll somewhere? I thought I lost a pin. I didn't. It's in the ultrasonic friggin' cleaner. So I almost pooped a little. That was scary. Yeah, oiled them up with the Lucas, and now I'm going to put the pins in. I am going to put in, I forgot, which one do I put in first? This one. Now there is a system to go left to right or right to left. Google it or ask somebody, because I forget. But it doesn't seem to affect anything. But it might help you get the pins out easier and put them in easier. So if it went out this way, it's going back in this way. That's how my brain thinks. Okay. So everything's oiled. I'm going to put this in there. Got it all lined up. Okay, I can see it where it needs to be lined up right there. And it should go right in if I can hold it there. There it goes. You know, you'll get a feel for this after a while and it won't be a big deal. You want to hear that click, you want it to stop because that wire will go into a slot. Now I will test this. Make sure it pulls down, springs down hard. If that's weak, if that's just weak, your slide will lock back randomly and then you'll be mad. So if that's weak, you want to change that, put a new one in there, which they're, as you can see, very easy to change. Okay, so that's good. Looks okay. And what's cool about this is I can reference my other Glock to make sure that, like, I wasn't sure that if that spring went under or over. So what I'll do is I'll reference my other Glock to see if that spring's under or over to make sure that that's right. That's what's cool if you have two guns. Why do you need two guns? There's a reason. Reference. What I'm doing here you shouldn't do, but I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to oil it in a very important spot right here near the connector. If you want to oil that. And I just oil the tabs. Just a drop on each one. Everyone oils a Glock differently. You'll see videos. I just put a drop on each tab. And I'll even put a little oil on this little bird's head here. Just to rub it. Because that's rubbing on the plunger back and forth. Anything that rubs. Alright. As you can see, the barrel's bone dry. Needs oil. So I'll just coat the whole thing because it was in, once again, the ultrasonic cleaner. Where do you see this light, man, I got at the end of the video? I'm going to start putting them at the end of the video. This way, if you people that really don't like lights at all, this way you don't have to fast forward through the beginning. A little drop in there. Okay. Usually I don't show doing this, it's common sense, but the slide really needs to be oiled because just put a little dab up here. Little pinky action. I have a very talented pinky. I can't tell you how. I can't tell you how. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just put a drop of oil on the slide. Because that machine, that's the sub pump, really strips it down to the bare metal. So I want to make sure that I want to protect the finish, protect the metal, protect the gun, and a little bit of oil is a beautiful thing. Metal loves oil. It needs it. That was my sub pump. That's what you just heard. Yep, I get water in my basement. The house was built in 1924, so it gets water in the basement. Okay. Now, this gun is spick and friggin' span. Nice and clean, inside out, everything. We ripped it down to the bare bones. The only thing we didn't do is take the mag release out, which I don't want to because every time you take it out, it chews up the plastic inside. When you get your Glock, you look in there, you'll know what I mean. If you ever replace your mag release, replace it with the one you want and then just leave it alone. Because every time you pull it out of its notch, It's a metal wire spring and it's in a plastic notch, and every time you keep pulling that out, I don't care what anybody says, it's going to remove material very little bits at a time every time you take it out. So once that mag's in there and you got the one you like in there, I have the Vickers one, just leave it in there. You don't have to take that out. Unless something's jammed in there or it's dirt and it's causing your gun to mess up, yeah, then you got to take it out. Okay, so this is good to go. Now I won't use this gun until I shoot it now. I'm going to have to put at least, I don't know, just 50 rounds, just to make sure everything's okay. Recoil spring. Another good thing to have is an air compressor. Once you take it out of that cleaner, because that simple green is half water, you really need an air compressor to blow all that water out of there. Blow it all out and it dries it immediately. So, and that's it. I mean, that's how you put a spring kit in your Glock. Now, there's Glock triggers out there, and I've had them. They're like $150. They're $150. If you put this spring kit in there, it'll feel just like a $150 trigger when you're done. For how much? How about $8? $8. That's it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is make sure it resets. And it is. Check my my firing pin. Make sure it shoots the pencil out. Make sure it works. Yep, see the pencil moved? Do it again. Now the 1911s, it'll really fire out of there, but as long as that pencil moves, you know it's working. There, it's good. That's really all I can do right now. I can also get a couple dummy rounds, put it in, work my mag, see if it's extracting right now. But now, I'm getting off track. This video is way too long. Now with this trigger, you're going to notice a night and day difference. But at the same time, it will have that wall. You need the wall. You got to have a little wall. Like Donald Trump. We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a great wall. Well, this wall was a big wall, but now it's a little wall. So now I can pull through the wall without moving the muzzle. But there's still a wall for safety. You don't want it too light. To me, that is like borderline. That's no way near should be ever lighter than that, especially if you're going to use it for defense. But it's really great for target shooting. You'll really notice your groups will tighten up immensely. Your groups will get very small, like you will be getting 1911 targets. So I look at it this way. Now you got a gun that shoots like a 1911, but it'll be less fussy because of the, you know, some 1911s are fussy. Some of them run anything, but some of them are fussy. But now you got a gun that'll shoot like one, but ain't as fussy as one, because you know this eats everything and anything I put in it. Okay, that's live ammo. You know, I'm by myself in my basement. I'm no danger to anyone. So if I want to test it with live ammo, that's on me. I could do that. Chamber around, just take the mag out, finger high and away from the trigger, and make sure it ejects out that live round. Beautiful. It ejected out awesome. Okay, it didn't just kind of bloop out, it shot out, which means the extractor is working like it should. Usually I don't do that. That's probably the first time I did that on a video. I don't recommend you do that because I don't want to see no one get any accidents happening. Get yourself some snap caps. They're fake bullets. They're plastic bullets to practice with. But I just wanted to show you guys that the gun is functioning every way it should. You know, I'm sure it'll run perfect. I just got to take it to the range. Awesome. So, what I will do is put the link. These guys didn't send me nothing for free. This was just a recommendation from a friend that knows a lot about tactical shooting. And if he recommended these, I believe they would be safe to use on my Glock and keep my gun reliable at the same time. So you can either just Google that, because I'm going to have a bunch of links under the video for the light anyway. Alright, that's it. Hope you learned something. I know you couldn't see too well, but it's the best I can do. I don't have a cameraman. And let's see who won this awesome light. Alright, we got another Gihugent, ginormous, gigunda, friggin' giant spotlight, beam throwing friggin' light. This is probably the biggest, powerfulest light I've ever gotten so far. And when people win a light, if you're a good like subscriber of mine, or you're a friend of mine and you're also a subscriber and you got a little light, I'm not picking people that's going to get little lights and picking people that's going to get big lights. I give them out as they come in through the mail. Well, this person's really lucky because look at this light they're getting. Great light for the money, but in general it's an expensive light because it's a big light. This is called the TN32. Comes with a nice little case that you can, like I said, look at it. Wow. Do I have to give this away? Wow, am I giving this away? Look how big that is. This thing is so powerful. It takes the 18650 rechargeable batteries. Here's the case. Real nice case. It's not cheesy. Everything's good. The case is good. It's a phenomenal charger. It's got the MCC-4 charger, and it charges all different kinds of rechargeable batteries. AA, AAA, 18650, 17335, 16340. I mean, it does multiple rechargeable batteries, and it's phenomenal. Lights up blue, nice big display, and they give you a car charger for the charger, and they also give you an AC power cord with it also. And don't ever lose your cap to your Lucas gun oil. Don't ever do that. All right, that's important. So the TN32. It's extremely powerful. There's a little bit of difference here. I have the TN30 next to my bed, and I've had that light probably almost 2 years, and I've never charged it. And when I test it to see if it's working, maybe 2 years, a year and a half definitely. All right, and when I test it to see if the batteries are still charged, it's as bright as when I put fresh batteries in it. So what's good about these lights is when the batteries are in there just sitting there, in room temperature, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about outside in your car. In room temperature, they really don't lose their power. It takes a long time. Mine's been next to my bed for a year and a half, and I just tested it a week ago, and it's like 2,700 lumens or some crazy shit like that. Bright as can be. And that's what's really cool about these Thrunite flashlights. They don't lose the storage power. Is tremendous. Well, this is handsome as shit. It's a TN32 UT. So, and how it works is you turn it on in the back, and that's going to be on its lowest setting, as you can see. Now, whoever wins this, pay attention to the video, because I don't want your battery to die out, because I want to show you why. Now I'm going to turn it up to its first setting, second, man, this thing, third, and then super bright. And then that's its turbo. And I think this one's like, damn, I don't have the directions with me. It's either 2,700 or 3,000 lumens. It's in that high range there. High range. I don't want to shine it at the camera, mess up my camera. But this is so powerful, you got to be, I think you got to be careful with that much light. Now also, the last setting will strobe it. Oh, wait a minute. Now that's off. And then the last setting will strobe it. It's strobing. All the way down to low, as far as it can go. But as you can see, the light is still on in there, but it's real dim. You have to turn it around in the back to turn it off. So just remember to do that. Look in there and make sure that LED light is completely out. Because I don't want to see you burn your batteries up. It takes 3 18650 batteries, and yes, this time around I try to have the batteries included because they're not batteries you can just go buy at Walmart. So I asked Thrunite nicely, can you include the batteries, because you know, what's the sense of giving a light away without batteries, and they're special batteries. If they were just AA's, then anyone can go get a AA and I wouldn't send the batteries, but this particular one, the batteries are included. It's a carousel battery holder. Here it is, and it doesn't matter which way you put it in. You can put it in upside down. The batteries have to go in a certain direction, but the cylinder does not. Like I said before, all aluminum and brass. It's beautiful. Got the O-ring in there so you don't get any water damage. The person that's winning this light is Carol Bueling, probably said it, Buin, Carol Buin. That family has a house in the mountains, and those people could definitely use a light like this. When you have a house in the mountains, in the woods, a cabin in the woods, they are going to definitely use the hell out of this. And that's the next thing. When I give these lights away, I want to make sure it's a person that's going to want it, first of all, supports the channel, second of all, and that's going to use it. I mean, look how beautiful this is. That dish is long and deep, and you know, beautiful stainless steel crown on the top. I'm making up my own words. I don't know what this stuff is called. Looks like a crown. It's brushed stainless steel. It's not plastic. It's not plastic that's dipped in chrome. You know that shit? It's really stainless steel. This is super, super nice. Congratulations, Carol. I hope you guys get a lot of use out of this. Big ass bear comes up to your door, you can strobe his ass. Might work. It's pretty heavy. Just by holding it, I don't know, 2 pounds maybe. I think it's got some heft to it. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. I'll put all the links under the video, especially for this light, the TN32 UT. And I hope you liked the Glock video. These are the videos that I like to do the most, is these how-to ones. So, I'll talk to you soon.